What's up? This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. My name is Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. the Gringo Mandingo. We're about to get into this. Before we go any further, I just want to let you know, if you want to have a good time, you need to have good seats. If you want to have good seats, you need to go to SeatGeek. Buying tickets can be complicated, confusing, and a pain in the ass, but there's a simpler way to buy tickets with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to your favorite team's games. Whether you're spending a day at a ballpark searching for the perfect gift or hunting down a last-minute deal, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, and it's fully guaranteed. Nothing beats being there in person for the biggest plays of the year, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. You want to have a good time? You got to get good tickets. You want to get good tickets? You got to go to SeatGeek. I got the SeatGeek app on my phone, and it's the easiest way I have found to shop for tickets. I can be anywhere, any place, with just a few taps, and I can instantly find the seats I want at a great price. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals, the best deals, and you get the most bang for your buck at SeatGeek. And my listeners get $10 off their first SeatGeek purchase. So just download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code BUTTER today, okay? That's the promo code BUTTER, B-U-T-T-E-R, for $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code BUTTER today and save $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Yo, the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast Rodeo Tour is coming to Texas. Wednesday, July 26th, stateside at the Paramount in Austin, Texas. Thursday, July 27th, The Secret Group, Houston, Texas. Saturday, July 29th at the Texas Theater in Dallas, Texas. Cannot wait. It's the rodeo leg of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast World Tour. Tickets are available at www.iamrapaporttour.com. www.iamrapaporttour.com. Wednesday, July 26th, we're going to be in Austin at Stateside. Thursday, the 27th, The Secret Group in Houston. And Saturday, July 29th, at the Texas Theater in Dallas. We're probably going to wind up with some special guests. I can't wait to do it in the biggest state of all, Texas.
The NBA is on TuneIn, streaming NBA games around the globe. It's time to bring you the confrontational front court of Michael Rapaport and Kenyon Martin.
Kmart sends it home.
This is Two Men Weave on the NBA on TuneIn.
All right, this is the Two-Man Weave. I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, Kenyon Martin hybrid. It's a fantastic day. I'm in New York City. I'm here with my man Kmart. NBA on TuneIn. How you feeling, my man?
I'm good, Mike, man. I'm good, man. How's the buzz around the city today?
All right, I'm going to tell you how the buzz is around the city, okay? I've been waiting to get this off my chest. I woke up this morning, 6:46. I had my alarm clock set for 6:45. I saw all sorts of texts, and I'll be honest, I thought something had happened to Phil, like something bad, like personally.
Yeah.
Come to find out, which obviously, as much as, we criticize basketball, we don't want anything happen to anybody personally.
Not at all.
Especially he's older and, but that was my first thing because it was so early in the morning. I was like, these kinds of transactions don't happen early in the morning. And then I put the pieces together. I brushed my teeth and I realized that the new regime was going to come in, that the party was over. And obviously, during the playoffs, I brought out the iconic broom in Cleveland because I wanted to sweep it up and clean it up. The broom is out here in New York City because we're sweeping it up. We're mopping the streets. We got the dust busters. We got the vacuums. We got the sanitation department. We're going to clean this place up once and for all. James Dolan has finally stepped up and done the right thing. He had the opportunity to do this, Kenyon, the day after the Charles Oakley incident. Phil Jackson should have been the one talking to the press. He refused to. Dolan had to go out there and try to make nice. He's not good at that. He should have fired him that day. I'm your boss. You go talk to the press. You don't want to do that? Fine. Okay? Now, he should have fired him then. He could have fired him after the season. He could have fired him before the draft. But all things that were heading towards this inevitably happened today. And it's a gorgeous day here in New York. Kenyon, it's a beautiful summer day. Okay? It's not too hot. Okay? It's not too cool. The sun is shining. But even me, I just have one layer of sunblock on. People are out in the streets as we speak. I'm watching them through the window, dancing, strutting. They're walking with a certain gait. Yeah, they're smiling. They're talking to each other. It's a communal vibe here in New York City. And my hope is that James Dolan will hire a GM who has experience. We will not dip into anything that has happened in the past. I'm not naming names. I'm not pointing fingers. Okay? I'm politically correct. We will either hire this guy, David Griffin, or this guy from Toronto, who I can't say his name correctly, or somebody else who... I want to hear about him. I want to hear your thoughts on him in a second. But whoever we hire, Kenyon, I just want a guy who has ran a basketball team, has had some success, who also does not have a Twitter account. That is the first thing that needs to be checked. I don't want a GM or president of basketball operation who has a Twitter account. Okay? I don't want them to have a Snapchat, a Facebook. If they have it on their own in private, that's their own thing. I don't want them to be publicly tweeting. If you have a Twitter account, or you're on Snapchat, or you have a reputation for sliding up in the DMs, we are not considering even reading your job application. Okay, Kenyon? But James Dolan can right the ship now. Forget the past. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the things that are past. There's no reason to do that. Nobody wants to sort of point fingers and have any regrets. But if he makes the right hire, lets them do their thing, we can move forward. And we can essentially just bring some stability, some respect, some integrity back to the Knicks. Are we winning a championship? No. But we should hire a GM who doesn't insist that the coach does a particular offense and runs the team in a respectable way. Because I was thinking about this today, Kenyon. You know, the booing and the angst that's going on with the Knicks. You know, last year, you know, we had a bad season. You know, Knicks fans, New York fans in general, we could deal with adversity. But the way it's happened and the reason why it's happened the last few years has taken it to a new level. You know what I mean? With the sort of dysfunction. And you know, we talk about this word culture on sports shows. It's always brought up culture. Essentially, a basketball team is a job. It's a workplace. You know, because people, you say this word culture, and it's like this foreign thing. It's like if you're working in a coffee shop or a regular business or a plumbing store. If the workplace is crappy and it's not fun, and people are talking about you behind your back, and you know, people are eyeballing you, it's not going to work. It's not going to be a fun place. It's not going to be a productive place. So we need to get the workplace of being a New York Knick fixed, and then the basketball stuff. You know, it's going to take time. But the one thing Phil has done, and I don't know anything about French Frank, the New York Knicks first-round draft pick. I don't know him from a can of paint. I don't even know what he looks like. But he has done good making draft picks. Carmelo is still a very potent scorer. Porzingis is Porzingis. And we have some guys that we could start making a basketball team. But I think the culture and the workplace environment is what's most important. Kenyon, what did you think when you woke up and you heard about the Phil Jackson thing, or did you hear about it last night?
No, I heard about it today. You know, I'm a little, you know, I'm on the West Coast right now. But it was surprising after them just giving him an extension of 2 years. Yeah, I just think it's just one of those things where they realized the nature of what was going on. And in my opinion, I think the draft was the straw that broke the camel's back, you know. You got product after product after product here that's proven. And once again, Phil reaches. You know, he reaches for the kid out of France. Like I said, I don't know anything about him, never seen him play. He'll walk in my house and I probably wouldn't know who he is. Yeah, but no, just
you
one
might
of those
give
things,
him $20
man.
for the pizza.
Yeah,
you might think he's the
definitely.
pizza guy.
Yeah, but it's just in my opinion, I think the draft was just the last straw, man. It's a long list of decisions that Phil Jackson made as the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks, and this was ultimately his demise.
This is the two-man weave. I vented. As you can tell, my voice is a little distorted. We have Jordan Winter, J-Dub, show you love.
What's going on?
It's an I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast hybrid of sorts. We have Brian Scalabrine calling in here later on. He's better known as the White Mamba. I want to get into the big three. Unfortunately, my main man, Kenyon Martin, suffered a little bit of injury. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the big three. We're going to talk about Chris Paul. We're going to talk about the trades. I'm coming down. I had to get that off my chest, and I'm all right now, Kenyon. I'm okay.
Yeah, let's piggyback to the draft, though. The guy that I can't pronounce his name. I don't even know his name. I don't want to
call him French Frank. Call him French Frank.
Yeah. Okay, French Frank.
Because just so you know, Kenyon, that's what we're calling him here in New York.
My thing is, like, you got the Dennis Smith kid sitting there. You got Malik Monk sitting there. You know, why not take one of those guys? Proven here. The commissioner wasn't even in the back good before Dallas made that pick with Dennis Smith Jr. You know, he wasn't even out the stage good. Then I'll pick in. Hey, Adam. Hey, listen, Adam. I'll pick us in right now. Hey, we ready. You know, they didn't even use the 4 or 5 minutes. Like, I bet they were shocked. Yeah, they were shocked that the Knicks didn't take either one of those guys.
Jesus.
You know, so yeah, man, it's just these decisions, man. You got proven guys here that's proven that they can play. The proof is in the pudding, playing against some of the tougher competitions in the SEC and these other conferences that these ACC and the SEC here are two of the toughest college conferences there is. And you reach for a guy that, he averaged 5 points in
Jesus
a subpar
Christ.
league on a subpar team.
Wait,
you know,
Kenyon, did he average 5 points?
That's what I'm hearing, man. Like, it's something like that.
You're gonna make me. I don't want
Jordan,
to do anything.
Hey, J-Dub, your thing, brother. Please look it up.
Young.
Please look it up.
So young. He's so young. He has not averaged double figures.
Oh God.
I mean, he led his French team to the playoffs, and that's what he did.
He led, or the other guys led them to the playoffs. Let's not. Come on, Jordan. Don't do that now. Don't you do that.
We need some shred of hope here as Knicks fans, Kenyon.
Hey,
we're
listen,
dancing the
I told
streets
you who
over
hope
here.
is. Hey, I don't know. I don't know if you remember who I told you hope is.
Who?
Hope ran at the Kentucky Derby. I heard it was a horse at the Kentucky Derby.
Kenyon, when I said these names of potential replacements for Phil, I said David Griffin, I said Michael Rapaport, and then I said Masai. How do you say his name? Uraja? Yes, I'm saying his name incorrectly, and I don't mean any disrespect.
First name is Masai. I call him Masai. His first name is Masai.
Okay,
he was with me in Denver.
Okay, so what do you know about Griffin, and what was your experience with Masai when you were playing in Denver?
I don't. David Griffin is David Griffin. The proof is in the pudding. Cleveland, he has the championship bread, championship quality about him. He helped bring some of those guys into Cleveland, along with the help of LeBron James. But David Griffin was the GM. He did that. He got the job done. And Masai, he didn't really he did some things when I was in Denver. I guess he orchestrated the Melo trade, if you want to say that, leaving Denver. I don't know, but my experience with Masai wasn't my exit, and things that I was told wasn't accurate. So my relationship personally might get in the way of this. You know what I'm saying? So I would tend to shy away from giving my opinion about Masai in this situation. But if he's up for the job, they obviously think he's qualified for it. He did a good job bringing some of those guys into Toronto. The Surge deal, signing for PJ Tucker, trade for PJ Tucker, and bringing DeRozan back and things like that. He's done his job. You know what I'm saying? So if he's up for the job in New York, they must think he's capable, and we'll see who they decide to bring in.
If you were James Dolan right now, and based on the guys that you know personally on the Knicks, the guys that you played against, I mean, you could get vibes, and the guys, the younger guys, which obviously the Porzingis and these, Willie Hernan Gomez, who's a good player. I don't think he's ever going to be like a great player, but he's a good, tall player. And everything you know about this Knicks team, if James Dolan was reaching out to you, Kenyon, what would you say the next move is? Like, what would be the advice you would give him from all the experience? And do it for me. All the experience, all the knowledge that you have of players' temperaments, the history of New York. You played on the last Knicks team that made the playoffs. You know what the crowd is like. You understand the environment, and you understand the NBA. You understand NBA players' personalities. If he was going to say, Kenyon, what should I do? Not necessarily who should I hire, but what kind of guy? Like, what do you think the next thing is that Dolan should do?
You have a guy like Allen Houston that's been on the payroll, on the staff, and in front office for years. So why not give him a shot? Or follow in the footsteps of a Magic Johnson and Los Angeles Lakers, hiring an agent, a guy who you guys respect, that's been around the game, been around the league, and can get free agents there, knows the pulse, knows the salary cap, knows what you guys need. Or you go hire just a fresh face. I'm saying, from where no one knows. You know what I'm saying? That knows the business of basketball. First time GM, like how Cleveland reached out to Chauncey. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, former player who you guys respect, a Mark Jackson, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that. Somebody who's well respected around the Knicks organization and the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But you never know in these situations who they might reach out to. They might just keep Steve Mills on.
Nope.
But you never know.
Nope. Kenyon, nope.
Oh, hey, listen. Hey, I'm with you, because he's part of it. It can't happen, Kenyon. Like, he's been there, and he was under feel, this, that, and the third. But like Steve is a solid dude. I like him as a person, but I just think he let Phil come in and it just gave him the keys to the car. And I don't think he gave his input enough to keep that team to where it needed to be, I think. So
I agree.
My opinion.
No, I agree. I agree with you. But when, as far as anybody from the past, it's been so tainted. We need a fresh face. Someone who's about their business, someone who has something to prove, and someone who's legitimate. Let me ask you this. Do you think Jeff Hornacek should be looking over his shoulder? Because whether we hire Griffin, Masai, Joe Schmo, Allen Houston, do you think that they're going to want to start fresh with a coach? Or do you think that Hornacek, and we talked about it a lot in the past, he was neutered in a sense because last year Phil Jackson was quasi-coaching the team. Do you think that will carry over and we need to start fresh?
I've never met Jeff Hornacek. I never played under him, so I don't know his temperament on the bench or in the locker room. I didn't like the hire when they hired him, but it was Phil's guy, like you said. It was Phil's hand-picked guy, just like Derek Fisher was. So, and just like they made the decision to fire Mike Woodson. So with that said, I don't know, man. I would like to see a fresh start all around the board. I would like to see them go to Porzingis, keep Melo, go to those guys, ask them what they think, and make a decision based on that. Because Porzingis is the future of the Knicks, so to speak.
With the Knicks roster right now, they have some young pieces that seem to mesh well together, and they've got some pieces that if they wanted to make some moves, they've got some guys who could help out other teams. I mean, of course, with the way that the league's going right now, with the super teamification of the NBA, I don't know how many of these potential contenders would want, say, a two-way player like Courtney Lee. who has made the playoffs every single season except for last season when he went to the Knicks. So, a guy like that. And then you look at other pieces that they have. I mean, everyone wants to talk about Porzingis, but Willie Hernan-Gomez was a great fit last year. I don't really think that they should bring back Derrick Rose. I think that's water under the bridge. There's rumors right now that they're interested in Jeff Teague. Who knows if Jeff Teague would be interested in coming to the Knicks? It's just these are the type of moral victories that us as Knicks fans have to live off of for right now. We're celebrating the fact that a person in the front office is gone. That's where we're at. That's where we had the headlines for about 4 hours until the Chris Paul news broke. So now we got to focus on what's going on the floor, make the Garden Eden again, because this is just not going to cut it in New York City.
This is the two-man weave. Kenyon Martin, Michael Rapaport, Jordan Winter. Later on in the show, we have the White Mamba, a.k.a. Brian Scalabrine, calling in. Kenyon, I need you to break this down to me because I'm just a fan. I know by doing this show, NBA on TuneIn, I'm essentially media, but my blood, sweat, tears will always be a fan. Chris Paul got traded to the Houston Rockets, and I'm disgusted by what I'm hearing afterwards. They said that Chris Paul and James Harden were determined to play with each other. Okay, first of all, that doesn't sound right. Something sounds off there. But what I need you to explain to me from a basketball business side is this super teamification of the NBA. These teams are being built on personal relationships between the players. So Chris Paul and James Harden know each other. They're cool with each other. They're determined to play with each other. LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, they're cool with each other. They're friendly with each other. They get together. They go to dinner. They create the Miami Heatles. As a fan, this has to stop, Kenyon. It has to stop because if you're not part of the cool kids clique, you're going to be not on a dope team. So can you explain to me what has happened? Now, it's a double-edged sword because, some people be like, well, let the players determine, they're where they're going to go. They should have a say. And then the other part is like, I'm a fan. If you either want these guys to be able to have a say or you want a good brand of basketball throughout the league and not just this friends and family AAU banana boat. We hang out in the summer and work out with our shirts off, and now we're going to get on the same team crap. Why are players having the leeway to team up against other teams? Do you understand what I'm saying? What changed? The levees broke, and in my point, it's flooding, and it needs to be stopped.
Well, Mike, it just didn't start now. It's been going on, man. It's guys follow that. Guys are chasing that ring. That's what it is. And in order to compete now, you have to stack the deck, so to speak. So CP going to the Rockets, I guess they feel they have a better chance with him on the roster of dethroning the Golden State Warriors. But you're going to need a little more. You still got to play defense. You still got to mesh. Those guys have been playing together for years now. Then adding Kevin Durant to that equation, stack the deck even more. But guys got to realize that. Well, people have to realize that the team that people are trying to implement, trying to be like, those guys were drafted there. Right. So those guys were drafted there. So and then adding Kevin Durant to that equation has made teams go back to the drawing board and in order what they feel they need to do to be successful in order to compete for a championship, they have to stack the deck. And that's what they're doing, So we'll see it. But in a basketball sense, I hope it works. I don't see how. Chris Paul is a dominant ball handler, and so is James Harden at this point in his career. You know, so who's willing to get up off of the ball is what I want to know.
How do you feel that the Clippers stack up right now going forward? I mean, everyone thought that Chris Paul was the guy. You had said in previous episodes, Kenyon, that you would let Blake Griffin walk. How do you think the Clippers are going to do now? Because to me, the Rockets, they had that 3 seed secured. I'm not really sure if they're going to be done. I know that they're clearing out as much cap space as possible. There's a couple of free agents we'll get into, but where do you see these two teams stacking up? Because we're talking about right now the number 3 and the number 4 seed in the Western Conference in this past season.
Yeah, I just don't. Whatever the moves are being made, I just don't think it's enough. It's not enough to compete with unless you add a Paul George to that equation or Carmelo Anthony and everybody's willing to take a back seat and get off of that ball a little more. Then, yeah, maybe you have a chance. But then it comes down to you still have to play defense. You know, so you can do all these moves and all of this, but Golden State is not going anywhere anytime soon. So we all know that. So whatever moves are being made by the Clippers, I just don't think it's enough right now. So like you said, they have pieces and they have the things they still need to work on, like re-signing Blake. And if they're going to do that, then J.J. Redick's a free agent. So are they going to re-sign him? Other people on the roster said what they're going to do with DeAndre. There was talks that there were trade rumors about DeAndre Jordan out there. You know, so what are they going to do moving forward? But is it enough to win a championship this coming up season?
It seems like the Clippers, they're blowing it up. They're blowing it up, finally. The Clippers are blowing it up. The Rockets, how do you feel? Chris Paul and James Harden, you started to touch on it a little bit. James Harden had the best season of his career playing like Chris Paul. Can this work? How do you see it working? I mean, Chris Paul seems to have lost a step on defense. James Harden, you know, maybe he's a little bit better on defense than he had been the doormat in the past. I mean, can these two play together? And especially with the depleted roster. The Rockets last year, guys like Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson had career years, but they played the most games they've ever had. Both guys are injury prone. I don't know if I like this move for the Rockets. I mean, they're one injury away from just plummeting in the West. Yeah,
they have to make some moves as well. So they have to add some pieces to that to help them as well. But like you said, it's just one of those things like who is going to be willing to get off of the ball out of James Harden and Chris Paul. You know, James, like you said, James had a hell of a year. Led the league in assists, averaged 28, 29 points a game. You know, that's hard to do but he had the ball in his hand 44% of the time.
Right.
You know, him and CP, I think, was 1 and 2 in the league in that category. You know what I'm saying? So that's, you know, so who's going to be willing to get off of the rock?
Before we get to
Let's talk about the Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
First time you've heard that, right?
Yep. Yeah, ever.
I like their draft.
Let's talk. Man. De'Aaron Fox, Justin Jackson, Harry Giles, and Frank Mason Jr. I like that. But this says a lot about college basketball and the NBA, man. Frank Mason Jr. put a lot of work in, man. He's a stud. He can play, flat out play. And he's picked in the second round. Man. Like,
absolutely.
This is absolutely insane to me, man. Like, but I like Sacramento's draft. I like what they did. You add some veterans to that squad and some of the talent they already have. I like that. I'm saying Buddy is still there, right? Buddy Hield is there.
Yep.
Right? So,
yep.
Hey, they got a young team, man. Who's their coach again? Do they have one? Is this
Yes. Yes, they have Dave Yeager, formerly of the Memphis Grizzlies.
I forgot Yeager was there. I like that. I like him there. He's young, energetic. They're going to play hard. They're going to defend. I like that. They're going to get better. They're going to get better.
De'Aaron Fox wanted to go to the Kings. He actually made a post when he worked out for the Kings that he took down, that he was so excited to be working out for the Kings. I mean, those are the ways that you can build a super team in the NBA. You either have to do it through the free agency, trade market, banana boat, or the draft.
And you know what that's about too, right?
What's it about?
That he gets to play against Lonzo Ball 4 times a year.
Yes. Oh, he's gonna relish in that. I mean, it's
you know what I'm saying?
Really. And the Lakers too. They've vastly improved. That roster is looking good. I mean, it's very interesting to me the way that the NBA is going right now. I mean, there's teams that next year, they're going to have big jumps and improvement. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be circling the drain. But you look at teams that are going to be fun to watch, the league pass type of teams. People are going to like to watch the Sixers. People are going to want to watch the Trailblazers. They're going to want to watch the Nuggets. Something that we haven't touched upon yet is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the trade they made on draft night for Jimmy Butler. Their big three, you reunite Tom Thibodeau, Jimmy Butler. You got that Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns. So, guys, I want to play a game with you right now because it's something that's been very painfully obvious to me in this season, just by looking at the draft. There's really not that many players. I mean, there's a lot of talent, a lot of young talent in the draft, but not a lot of these guys are going to make big-time impacts in this upcoming season that's going to really affect the playoff race. Yeah, maybe Jason Tatum is going to end up being someone who can affect things for a Boston team that was competing for the Eastern Conference Championship, but let's brace for the super team storm. And let's try to look into the crystal ball a little bit. Guys like, let's say, Paul George. If you're Paul George, Kenyon, Michael, where would you like to be playing? Because rumor has it right now out of Boston, they're offering 2 first-round picks and Jay Crowder for a 1-year rental of Paul George. Is that worth it? Because he wants to go to the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. Because you're not winning a championship next year if you have Paul George.
I agree. And this idea of a 1-year rental, if you have any integrity, especially if you're Paul George and you're in the prime of your career and, you're making a change after spending a long time in Indiana, I'd want to go to a team that I want to stay with for a long time. This rental, this one and done, those are for guys, in the later part of their careers. You don't go to Boston with really, there's no guarantee that you're even going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes, anything can happen, man. You can go out there and get hurt. Injuries are part of sports, man. Like, I wouldn't do it if I was him.
Yeah, and like, Kenyon, don't you agree? Like, making a decision like that is not for the right reasons. Like, I think this whole thing with this ring chasing and you ain't crap if you don't have a ring, and listening to Shaquille, son, Charles Barkley, every single week on the TNT show because he doesn't have rings, and you're not crap if you don't have rings. It's putting out a bad thing out there. It's putting out a bad mojo that if you don't have a championship ring, your career means squat. And I think that's why guys are freaking out and ganging up and teaming up to have this buddy stuff so we could get the ring immediately. What about the struggle? What about the perseverance? What about, the process of getting there, and going through the hardship? This whole thing, like, we're going to skip all that. It hasn't worked yet. It didn't even work for the Miami Heat. They won, but they didn't win it the first year. And that team, that first year, they were sick, but they didn't get it the first year. I mean, even they had to go through, getting their butts handed to them and come back. And that team was built for a championship. And I just think the climate in this NBA, it's making me nervous, man. It's making me nervous as a fan. And I really hope, I don't have any analytics. I don't have any business knowledge, but it's just a couple of weeks ago that we watched the Cleveland Cavaliers tiptoe all the way through the Eastern Conference Finals, and everybody was complaining that the playoffs stunk and that the Western Conference Finals stunk and that, and that the Western Conference playoffs stunk, and we just forget about that. And the league, in my opinion, needs to do something to make sure that, the smaller markets and the smaller teams, and that we have a competitive NBA basketball league. You know, this isn't a family vacation. All right, the two-man weave is actually going to become a three-man weave. One of my favorite players, personalities, and just a good, fun, smart dude, veteran, champion. He's known as the White Mamba. Brian Scalabrine is joining the two-man weave. It's now officially a three-man weave. Scal, are you on the line?
What is it? What exactly is a two-man weave? There's no such thing as a two-man weave. Can you
it is. See,
there's a two-man weave when it's me and Kenyon Martin, but now it's a three-man weave because I have two wings. Now we have to do sort of a pick and pop. I got a couple of questions for you, Scal. We don't have you for a long time. You're in demand. You're a worldwide phenomenon. You're known as the White Mamba. Why they haven't made your own shoe is beyond me. I'm going to call your agent and talk to them. They need to get on that right away. My first question, before we get into the Phil Jackson and the Boston Celtics of it all, is what was your takeaway from the very, very successful first week of the Big Three? How's your body healing? And what did you take away from it? Did you have a good time? I mean, your team took a loss. I think you should become the co-coach with the great Hall of Famer Rick Barry. Did you have a ball out there?
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun playing and competing on that level. I will say this: the people who put the event on, was it Ice Cube, Jeff? Like that event was big time for a first time coming out in Brooklyn. I mean, they hit the home run. It was a fantastic atmosphere.
How do you feel? Like, I know, everybody, even, you guys stay in shape and you play, but then, when you get out there and you're playing with your peers and you're playing at a different level, like, did you feel sore the next day, or are you good to go?
No, I was a little banged up, I'm not going to lie, but I've been getting my treatment, seeing people to get back, and, you realize you can play in the rec leagues or the YMCA, or you can even play 5-on-5. I think that 3-on-3 half court is much more physical than people imagine. Like I didn't realize how physical it was going to be, and it was tough out there. But no, man, head down, grinding it out, getting ready for next week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I loved watching you guys compete. At one point during the game, you, Brian Scalabrini, somehow dreams come true, and you're matched up guarding one-on-one Allen Iverson. Now, what was that like? I think, he didn't have his best game. He shot like 1 for 11, which in AI in his MVP year, 1 for 11 is like a day in the park. I don't know why people were like questioning him having a bad shooting game. Even at his best, he would shoot his way in and shoot his way out of his game, and I expect him to come back and with the answers. What was that? What was that like for you? And what did you take away from me as a sideline reporter? It's a twofold question.
Well, okay. So the first thing is like guarding AI. Yeah, I was trying not to get dropped. He can get to the basket. I just feel like AI is going to be really good. Like as this thing goes along, week 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 10. I think he's just going to continue to get better. And as far as you need to pick up your dress attire, man. You can't be wearing no button-down plaid shirt on the sideline like that, Mike. Come on, put on a flannel. Like you got to do something a little bit better than that. I'm not trying to get on you because you're my guy and everything like that, but I thought you really underperformed. As far as like, maybe you could wear that at Tulsa. But in Brooklyn, man, I mean, what's the deal?
Yo, Scout, let me tell you something. I know you're from Seattle, but the grunge scene's done.
I wear that stuff in Seattle. You ain't from Seattle, and you ain't in Seattle.
No, but my man, my shirt was custom, first of all. It's a custom shirt from Antos in Beverly Hills. Go see them, because I don't see you winning any fashion awards myself, my friend.
And I'm not trying to do that, Mike, but I ain't trying to be a sideline reporter either, man. Like, if you're a sideline reporter, you got to bring it. I just don't understand
Tell him, Scal.
I just don't understand how the button-down was what you want. I think you couldn't wear a sport coat with a cool shirt underneath it. You can wear the I Am Rapaport podcast shirt and a sport coat. That would have been better. Wear the Garden and Eden shirt. Like, wear something to promote yourself, not some button-down from Beverly Hills.
Scout, you played in a professional 3-on-3 game in a sold-out arena in Barclays. You had a freaking catsuit on, and you're talking to me about a custom shirt that I got in Beverly Hills. You got big basketballs to talk to me that way. You got big basketballs talking to me that way, my friend.
You know, like the compression and how well it helps, you know, keep the muscles warm during that.
He said you had in the cat suit.
He had a catsuit on. I didn't know if it was Brian Scalabrine or Halle Berry. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
I was trying to keep the muscles warm.
Yeah, I understand that. I didn't see you elevating. I saw you try to dunk in the warm-ups. You almost broke your neck.
Okay, hold on, Mike. I went at your button-down Beverly Hills shirt, and now you're going at my game like this, man. We got to celebrate the game, man. Celebrate the game. Talk about the product.
Well, let me say something. I said this to you. I break your chops. I know that it's hard living in the shadow of Michael Rapaport. I have compassion for you for that. But anybody out there in the world that thinks, oh, Scalabrini, because they think, oh, he looks just like me. He's just like me. If he can make it to the NBA, I can make it to the NBA. I challenge anybody, any civilian over 35 who's never played, put your life savings on the line, one-on-one. I'm Scalabrini's hype man. I'm his Flavor Flav. He will beat anybody out there. Anybody who thinks like, well, if he did it, I could do it. No, you can't do it. Just because he looks goofy doesn't mean he did not play in the NBA for 10 years. Scout, I love you. You're my guy. You're a riot. But let me talk serious basketball here. What's the temperature? Go ahead. What were you going to say, Kenyon? Sorry.
No, I think you, Scal, and Will Ferrell, are y'all sure y'all not related?
We might be. You got to check the DNA on that one, man.
I think y'all might be related.
I got to be real, man. I got to keep it honest, man. I don't really know my real dad, so I'm just keeping it real. We don't know.
Could be him.
Well, you know, they say we all look alike, Kenyon, and it's a real bad stereotype that I've had to live with my whole life. Now, Scal, what's the temperature of Celtics Nation? Jason Tatum, was he the right pick? Is Paul George coming? Gordon with the good hair, Hayward. How are the Celtics going to get over the top next season? Because, you know, I want to see all roads leading to the dethronement of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I know you do. So I think here's the deal. I think we have cap space, so we're going to go after Gordon Hayward. If that happens and we get him, then we have some guys that we could possibly trade and sort of roll the dice on a Paul George. Don't count Kevin Love out of the scenario either. Don't count like a three-way deal where Cleveland gets some Paul George, Indiana gets some of the Celtic assets, and the Celtics end up getting Kevin Love. So I think there's a lot of things on the table, but anything that happens before the July 1st and the moratorium or before Gordon Hayward signs, then it would give up their cap space. So they want to keep that available up until the point in which Gordon Hayward says yes or Gordon Hayward says no, and then Plan B would kick in for the Celtics at that point.
Is there a chance that Isaiah Thomas will not be a Boston Celtic next year?
No, I don't think so.
It was a glorious day here in New York City with the dismissal. They said parting ways. I call it a blatant firing of Phil Jackson. What is your sort of takeaway? You're part of the media. Obviously, you're a Celtics guy, but you have your show on Sirius with Frank the Iceman Isola. All this craziness with the Knicks. I asked Kenyon the same question. If James Dolan called you up and said, Brian Scalabrine, I don't know why I'm talking to you, but I am talking to you. What should I do to fix the culture, the climate, the work environment, and get the Knicks back on track right now? What would be your, based on everything you know about basketball, everything you know about the players that we have right now, and whatever you may or may not know about French Frank, what would you tell James Dolan to do right now?
I would just tell him what Kenyon said, just in my way. The dude's too old. He can't be. The triangle's dead. Like, come on, man. This is like they're kind of a clown show. They need to move on from this. And I'm not down on Phil. Like, Phil was a successful coach, and he couldn't get past the fact that like that old school style, with the rules changes and the lack of physicality on the ball, it just makes sense to run pick and roll. That's why people do it. If it was different, if the rules were different and you were allowed to be physical with the ball, then maybe we can have the conversation that it's good to have a big man and it's good to run the triangle. But with the way the rules are right now in calls, you're giving yourself a huge disadvantage by doing that. And then I think his mistake last year was really going for it, signing guys to long-term deals and thinking that you were going to make the playoffs. When everyone knew you're not that good, you should be building around Porzingis, trying to get bad and get a couple picks. So, it's just he's just sort of outdated in today's game.
And what do you know? Because no one here in New York City knows about I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name because I haven't learned it yet. It took me a season and a half to get Porzingis down. But I will say that I am, and it is documented, the first person to go on national TV and say Hernan Gomez. That's aside the point. What do you know about French Frank, the player that we drafted?
Well, so everything I hear is he's supposed to be a triangle point guard.
Oh, God.
Basically, like you bring the ball up, pass to the guard, run to the corner, and knock down a three. Maybe post up a little bit. So I just hope, I don't want any player to fail, but a lot of times when you draft a guy and that's the Phil Jackson regime, next thing you know, they're going to try to make this kid you're not going to give him the chance that he deserves. Which I don't know if he's good or if he's not good. It's just a tough situation for him to be in, getting drafted and 2 days later Phil Jackson being fired.
All right, we're on the phone with Brian Scalabrine. They call him the White Mamba. I'm going to let you go, Scout. What is your game plan, your scouting report for this week's games down in Charlotte for the Big Three? And I really want to see you more active on the bench. You're a big part of the Big Three. You're a big part of your team. And I think as great as Rick Barry is, and everything is knowledgeable as he is, I think that you have to be the sort of more vocal leader on the bench, and be the leader of that team. So what is your scouting report? Who are you guys playing? Where's your head at for week 2 of the Big Three?
So the biggest thing for us is I try to get guys that the game is a lot quicker with that 14-second shot clock, and I tried to get guys. I was thinking we're not going to beat these guys one-on-one. There's no shot. I still, by the way, think that Trilogy is the best team. You got Kenyon, you got Al Harrington, and I thought Rashard McCants was the best guy to trap. So I thought you guys were the best team. I'm surprised you didn't get the love you guys deserve at the beginning from Vegas. But I think the biggest thing for us is just we got to play more team ball. We got to make shots, and we got to do that consistently. I think we'll be all right. I think it's a long term. It's just trying to kind of figure out this thing. I think I learned a lot that first week. If we try to go one-on-one, it's going to be tough for us. But there's going to be times where you're going to have to go one-on-one. It's just the nature of the game. So maybe I made a mistake by not taking, a big man to dump the ball inside, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
Kenyon?
Yeah, Sky, he's right, man. It's all about, it will change. But they just got to move the ball, man. And appreciate the love of Team Trilogy, man. We got a good squad, but everybody going to be competitive, man. I like you. All you guys can switch everything. You guys knock down shots, man. But it's going to be competitive, man. So,
now,
good luck this week, man, and I'll see you in Charlotte.
Listen, Scout. Listen, I'm not saying this will help your team, okay? Josh Childress has been known to have, he had the afro. I think that the extra hair, he looked like I know he was playing in Europe and maybe there was no barber over there. But my personal suggestion, and I love Josh, and I'm going to tell him to his face this weekend, just get a shape-up or a trim or go back to the fro, because right now it was very Chia Pettish, and I think it weighed him down a little bit. That being said, I cannot wait to see you down in Charlotte. I would love for you to possibly take me out for a good meal down there. And I can't wait to see you do your thing. And I'm really insisting that you be more vocal with your team because you have a strong voice and it needs to be heard. And your team, I think one thing I'll say from the sidelines is that your team deserves and needs a little bit of leadership. The White Mamba, thank you for joining the two-man weave. It's now going back to officially a two-man weave. And I'll see you in Charlotte, Scout.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys in Charlotte.
All right, Ville.
All right. See you, Kenyon.
All right. That was the White Mamba. Is better known as Brian Scalabrini. That closes the show here, Kenyon. What can I say? This was a raucous, high energy, high impact, smash and grab episode of the Two-Man Weave. Sort of a I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast hybrid. I want to thank Scalabrini for calling in. I want to thank the callers that called in. And, we're going to be back talking NBA, doing our thing. And Kmart, I will see you down in Charlotte this weekend. Are you going to make it down there for the game, even though you're on the injured reserve list?
I'll be there. Like I said, I'm a game time decision, man. I don't know. Like I said, I'm about to go to the cryo chamber now, go get worked on some more, get treatment again tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, and we'll see how it feels for Sunday. But
all right, my man.
We activated Gennaro Pargo just in case, but I'll definitely be there. I got to have to do promo and stuff on Fridays, but I'll see you now, no boss.
All right, Kenyon, I'll see you soon. Let me know how the cryotherapy is. I'll be doing it for no reason other than the fact that I wake up sore. It's a two-man weave, and we're done having fun. Peace.
Yes, sir.